नमस्ते बेटियों, खुश रहिए। आई JVWU Muskan Kumari from the Department of Science and Technology, and I am working here as an assistant professor in JVWU Women's University and the Faculty of Education and Technology. So today I will discuss the sessions, and that session name is Infrastructure as a Services, isn't it? Us. So in the previous I have already discussed about your PaaS and the SaaS, and now today I will discuss the IaaS services. What is the infrastructure services? What are the main roles of the infrastructure as a services, and what are the services is provided by the cloud services as an infrastructure to the customers or the cloud users, isn't it? So now I'm going to discuss these topics with you. So to make you easy understand this all the things very clearly, I am just going to share one word files, and through that word files I will discuss some related points, and you have read that word files which is uploaded on your stations your own to better understanding. Okay. So just wait a minute, and I'm just sharing the files. Okay. This is the infrastructure as a service. Ask, what is the infrastructure as a service? For the first point is arises in your mind that this is what is the services. I know that services. What are the facilities which is provided by the clouds? What is the services, and what is the infrastructure? Isn't it? What is infrastructure as a service? So infrastructure as a service. It is a form of cloud computing that provides virtualized computing resources over the internet. And now you can think that what is the computing, and how it provides the virtualized computing resources over the internet. So to make it this easy understanding, that suppose you are using the Google Drive. Everyone has Gmail account, right? So and Google Drive, you will you students will know about the Google Drive. So whatever the documents, the important documents which you want to save on the Google Drive for the protecting that files and folders, isn't it? So you uploaded that into the Google Drive. So you also know that Google Drive also provides you the some specific limited amount of storage for the free storage, isn't it? So now whenever that storage is going to be full, now you have to use more infrastructure or the storage for storing the data files, isn't it? So for storing the more files, there is one option that you have to purchase the Google Drive storage, isn't it? On the paid basis, or you can access the many more infrastructures as a paid basis services. Clear? So this is same as the infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure is the form of the cloud computing services that provides the virtualized computing resources. They are providing you the resources that is in the virtual resources. Okay, so to that is accessed by the internet. So ours is one of the three categories of the services of the clouds, in which ours is the first and the bottom, the most bottom services is the art services. Now, so in the IaaS model, the cloud providers manage IT infrastructures. IT infrastructures is basically managed by the cloud, such as the storage. What is the IT infrastructure? To maintaining the data and the informations, you must have required some storage or the server to accessing that things, and the networking resources through which you can communicate your data from one to another systems or the places, and also delivers them to the subscriber organizations who can subscribe that things via virtual. Okay, so this provides this type of services that you can virtually add the data, access the data, maintain the data on the virtual machine, and they also store the data virtually. Okay, via the internet. So us have the many benefits of the organization, such as the potentially making you the workloads and faster, easier, more flexible, and more cost effective. Why we are giving you this all the points like the more efficient, more flexible, and more cost effective, and really it is easier to use because these infrastructures provides you the storage, servers, and many more facilities to accessing the data, and also provides you the communication channels through which you can easily transfer your data or communicate your data on the virtual machines. Clear? So these all activities are very flexibly while using the cloud services, cloud service platforms, which cloud services, and that services is named as the infrastructure as a services, isn't it? And this is more cost efficient. Why cost efficient? That how much storage or the infrastructure you have required for as per your requirements, so you have to pay only that amount of charges for that infrastructure, okay, to the cloud service provider, CSP. So what is the AS in AS uh, architecture? Okay, so in AS, in AS service model, cloud provides the host, the infrastructure components that are the traditionally present in an on-premise data center. On-premise data center, it means what? On the permissions, on the requirements of the users. Data centers, you can access these all the things, and these includes the server storage and networking hardware as well as the virtualized hypervisors layer also. And then you also seen that what is the hypervisor layer? Hypervisor layer just like the virtualization, isn't it? Virtual layer or virtualizations processes the hypervisor layer. So now, us provides a supply a range of the services a company those infrastructure components, and these are including that what detailed billing. Detailed billing in the sense whatever the services you have used, which is provided by the cloud service providers. You have to bill or pay that amount of charges to the CSP, cloud service provider, and they are monitoring what are the activities you are performing on the cloud services, isn't it? Log access, what you So that is the log access, isn't it? Log access is what the activities you are performing, and that means that is the log access. Security, what the various security facilities is provided by the infrastructure as a services to the cloud service customers, cloud using the cloud customers, and load balancing. They are also balance your load. That it isn't that they are providing you the virtually machine, isn't it? So you can easily share your loads to the virtually to the virtual machines, and also making the clustering and also the more storage reciting, and you can also back up all the activities or the data of that, and replications, and replications. So now, uh, the services, the service that are increasingly policy driven, enabling us users to implement greater level of automation and orchestration of the important infrastructure tasks. Whatever the tasks are increasing in the number of the increasing of the tasks, that you have also to take the advanced policy driven of that our services, and also ask users use to implement the greater level of the automation and orchestration of the task. How ask now the one more point is that how ask works infrastructure as a services working how, isn't it? Ask customer access the resource and service through the wide area network, isn't it? You well know that infrastructure as a service part of platform as a services and software as a service, these all are working on the network. So on the networks, this is the just like the WAN networks, wide area network, such as the internet you are using. These all services are basically done with the help of the internet. So this is done under the WAN, and causes the load providers services to install the remaining elements of the application stack. Whatever the whatever the services is not included in that applications, so it in include that all the applications into the all services into that particular applications. Okay, for example, I can declare this more by one example, that is the user can log into the IaaS platform to create the virtual machine. Suppose you have to create your own virtual machines, then you have to log into the IaaS platform, install the operating system in each virtual machine. Okay, deploy the middleware. Deploy the middleware or the middleware such as the database, like create the storage bucket for workloads and backups. Workload and backups. For this, you have to create a storage and install the enterprises workload into that virtual. Customer can then use the provider services. Customer use the cloud service provider services and to track the cost, monitoring the performance, what the performance is degrading or upgrading here, and the balance the network traffic also, and troubleshoot the applications, and also manage the issues or the disaster recovery of the data, isn't it? So now, any cloud computing model requires the participations of health providers. Cloud service providers provides the many services, but you have also required a model which manage these all the things. Okay, so providers is just like a third party of the organizations which selling the IaaS, like the Amazon Web Services and the Google Cloud Services, GCP and AWS. These are the most wanted cloud service providers or the infrastructure service providers, isn't it? So now, what is the advantage? So now, the basic advantages of the um, what us. What is the basic advantages of IaaS? Organization choose the IaaS because it is very easier and faster to implement and use, and this is very cost effective and cost efficient. This is very reliable platform with reliable services which is used by the many more customers, cloud customers, to operate the workload without having the buy, manage, and support. Isn't it clear? And ours is very effective cloud service model for the workload that temporary experimental. This is used for the temporary experimental. You can use the R services, isn't it? And for example, suppose if a business is developing a new software product, it might be more cost effective to host and test, isn't it? Suppose you have designed one software and you just want to test that software is very cost effective, then you can use the R services, isn't it? Where you can test the that products very easily, applications using the R providers. Once new software is tested and refined, the business can remove it from the R's. Then you business persons who are use the R's, then they remove it from the R's environment for a more traditional in-house deployment. Conversely, the business could commit the piece of software to the long-term R's deployment if the cost long-term commitment. Suppose if you have a commitment, the ask services for the long term, then you can deploy some. Then you can deploy some parts of the that applications for the long term. And if you have used the software, then after the testing and debugging of your application, easily deployment of your application, you can successfully test it. Then you remove from that environment. Okay. So, disadvantages of us is what? Despite its flexible pay-as-you-go model, us billing can be problem for some business. Us billing can be problematic for the some business. Cloud billing is extremely granular and it broken out to the reflect the precise uses of the services. Okay, it is the form for the users to experience a sticker shock. Now, the insight in another common problem of Ask users, because Ask providers on the infrastructure, the detail of their infrastructure configuration and performance are rarely transparent to the Ask users. And Ask users are also concerned about the service resilience. The workload ability and performance are highly dependent on the providers, isn't it? So if our providers experience network bottleneck, then we can easily lose these services. And our services is the most training services, which is mostly persons are using, many institutions are using to make and create the account on the Amazon Web Services and EC2 for making some deployments and making some extra activities to do. They are using the art services. Okay, so this is very cost effective. Uh, Now the our services is completed. This session is completed. If you have any problem, then please you comments on the comment section bar, and please wait for the next sessions. That session name will be your desktop as a services, isn't it? That is basically similar to your AS. What is the AS services? AS infrastructure as a services, that is similar as to the desktop as a service, but there will be some differences between these two. So I will discuss in the next session is desktop as a services. Okay, thank you.